Hey traders, this is Brandon back with another video. In today's session, I was able to take out $461 from the market. Definitely left a lot of money on the table and actually had a pretty big loss as well, which I'll be going over. WIMI ended up having an insane day, going all the way up to $15. Just to give you an idea, I bought in at a little less than $7, so that's a crazy move. Obviously can't expect that to happen every day. I stopped trading at around 10:30 anyway, so I usually close my broker. But going to this trade, there was a setup that I initially saw happening that I thought was a great opportunity. I ended up losing on the first trade. So this was the typical setup that I have where the stock is gapping up on the 5-minute chart. It comes down and then it dips and curls back up. So here you can see it actually started to curl up on the tip of this red candle, and it was above this orange line, which is the VWAP. So I got in, thought it was going to head higher. It immediately dropped. I mean, it dropped so fast on me. I lost a large chunk here, but I did have a line here as a line of support from a previous day, and so I saw this as another opportunity to dip, so I got in a little bit early. It did actually come back up. I sold some at VWAP just in case it wouldn't break VWAP again. I wanted to make sure that I took some profits, and then it was having a little bit of time getting above VWAP here, so I sold some more. Then when it finally did pop above VWAP, bought some more and sold on the way up. It ended up getting halted. Now, generally, stocks with a ton of volume that get halted, you usually get rejected fairly quickly. Stocks that have less volume, that have a low amount of volume, those are the ones that shoot up really high. So this stock got halted. It resumed a little bit higher, tried to make new highs, failed, and then as you can see on this candle, ended up dropping pretty hard. So I sold out of that position, so I was done for the day. But one thing that I did want to go over a little bit different than I've normally discussed is on WAFU. So these were the two stocks that were on my morning gap list, WIMI and WAFU. WAFU had pre-market, so this was at 9:20 in the morning. It was gapping up 60% and had less shares than I normally trade on Gap, so it's still a lot though. It had over 1 million shares traded in the morning. So stocks that are trading in that range, so I would say maybe less than 3 to 5 million shares before, in pre-market, I actually do use a 1-minute chart because it's not as congested. And so on this stock, what I was looking for was the same concept as the 5-minute chart. I was looking for a dip and a curl up, and sure enough, basically had a kind of like a flag pattern here, which I'll draw. So it had a flag pattern there, and you can get in above the break, and it also was breaking above VWAP as well. So there was a strong probability that this was going to go up. So I got in here and just rode the wave up. It actually got halted as well. So this got halted 933, 934, 939. So it got halted here. And so because this one had less volume than on WIMI when it halted, I knew that it still was going to push higher. Like I said, generally lower volume stocks that halt do move up for a little bit. So this one moved up. It ended up moving up from 840 all the way up to 912. So I took all my profits out here and took my final partials out as it was dropping. I thought it could maybe hold. This green line here is the high of pre-market, so I thought it could hold that and maybe go up higher. It didn't, so I ended up getting out a really small, whatever I had left on the crash down for final profit. So this is just a small kind of educational video here as far as when I do use the 1-minute chart. I know I talk about how I don't like to use the 1-minute chart, how it tends to be very choppy, but one thing that I will tell you is that on a lower volume, relatively speaking, stock, those tend to move in better waves, in more clear waves, whereas on WIMI, which had 13 million shares traded, As you can see, there's a lot of congestion and a lot of rejection. So here it rejected at around 820, dropped, try to come back up, rejected, try to come back up, got rejected again, and this is when I got in on the 5 minute, got rejected again. So the 1 minute chart for me on a higher volume stock doesn't tend to work very well. Like I said, other traders do really well. I tend to not get in on great buying opportunities on the 1 minute. So for the high volume stocks, I use the 5 minute setup. And so again, here's your curl. Got in. I got in a little bit early. Really, I should have got in on this candle, and just rode the wave up. So I kind of wanted to discuss the WAFU play with you, because I do want to let you know that there is an opportunity within the 1 minute time frame to buy into stocks. And like I said, really the easiest way is look for stocks that are gapping up, that don't have a ton of volume, relatively speaking. Those are going to be great opportunities to buy in. And I think there was one actually from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So here I'll show you another stock. This is from July 8th, just to give you an idea of higher volume stocks that tend to be choppy. Here's a NNVC, almost 7 million shares traded at 920, so pre-market. So again, this is a higher volume, and as you can see, look how choppy this was. So I tend, like I said, I tend to stay away from the 1 minute chart on high volume stocks. As opposed to that, here's DGLY. Again, this actually had less than 1 million shares, gapped up 16%, and look how smooth this was. So this actually dipped. I didn't buy into this one. This was also on the 8th. And as it dipped, it came back up and popped. Again, this is on lower volume, so lower volume tends to have more concise moves, whereas higher volume plays tend to have more choppy moves. And then the final play that I wanted to show you, this is from the 8th as well. So this is 2.3 million is kind of like the border of where I stopped using the 1 minute. 3 million I would say is where I stopped using the 1 minute. It tends to get a little too choppy, but this is this is like the best setup possible. So this is a gap up, and this is on the 1 minute. Here's your curl right here. You get above VWAP at 470, and then you ride it out all the way up. This is a perfect setup. And again, you can use the 1 minute because it has relatively compared to a lot of other stocks that are gapping up in the morning, it has lesser shares than, say, NNVC, which had almost 7 million shares. And then if we go back to today, WIMI had 13 million shares. So those are the stocks that I stay away from the 1 minute chart. So I hope that helps you out. Any questions, comments, like, subscribe, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. Catch you guys in the next one.